In this video, I'm going to show you how to do my top 5 text effects inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's get into it. So the first text effect is going to be the fade on text effect. So in order to do that, you first just want to create some new text. So we'll go to the T icon, go up onto your video and just type out a word or phrase of your choice. Then we'll go into the effect controls window, go into the text and we'll change the font. So I'm going to change to Monster Rat Bold. Then you can change the scale of this font. Then you can change the color if you like. You can add some kerning. But once you're happy with that, we'll just center align this. Then we'll center text vertically. Then we'll go down to transform and reset the position here. And then we'll just pull the position of this down just a little bit to pop this in the middle. So as you can see, we've just got our basic text here. Now, in order to do the fade on text effect, we just basically want to do some masking around this text layer. So we're just going to go into video, go into opacity, and we're just going to draw a free draw Bezier or a rectangle around this word, like this. Then we'll move 2 seconds over to the right. We'll create a brand new keyframe on mask path. We'll move back to the beginning and we'll move this entire mask over to the left. Now when we play this back, you can see that comes on, but you've got this harsh edge here. It's not really this subtle fade. So if we increase the mask feather all the way up and then we go into mask expansion and we increase this as well, you can see we end up with this really nice soft fade on effect. And to fade that off, you just do the exact same, but in reverse. You create a new keyframe, go to the end and move that mask off to the right. Now, if you wanted to, you could combine this fade on effect with some keyframe animation as well. So you can go to the very beginning, create a brand new keyframe on scale, and we'll pull this down to 90. Then go to the end, we'll increase this up to 100, and we get this nice fade on effect with a scale in. So the scale is increasing, that fades in, and then it fades back off again. And that is text animation number 1. Text animation 2 is going to be a line reveal. So in order to do this, we've got the text already created. We just need to go ahead and create a line. So we'll go into our project tab, we'll right click and we'll select new item and we're going to select color matte. Press OK on this and select your color. So I'm going to select a white for this. Then just press OK and we'll drag the color matte onto video layer 2 on top of the text. Then select the color matte. We'll go into effect controls, motion, we'll unlink uniform scale, and then we'll pull the scale width down to 0.5, or you can make that 1, and then we'll pull the scale height down so that it is just taller than that text. Now we'll just move that over to the left, and we'll go a few frames over to the right, so we'll go 6 or 7 frames over to the right, and create a new keyframe on the scale width. Then we'll go 3 to the left, increase this to 2. Then we'll go to the very beginning, so 4 to the left and turn this to 0. So this animates in, it will hold for a second. Then we'll create a keyframe on position and we'll move the position all the way over to the right. Then it will hold again before we create a new keyframe on the scale width. 5 keyframes over to the right and 0. So that bounces in, slides across and bounces down again. If we turn the text off, you can see that on its own. So now we just need to animate the text to follow that motion. So we're just going to go to where that rests, so up to here. Then we'll select the text, go to the free draw Bezier tool, and we'll just draw a rectangle around the text using that line to create that reference point here. Then we'll go to the point where that stops moving and create a new keyframe on our mask path. Then we'll go to the point where it first comes into contact with the text and we'll move that right point of the mask all the way up to that line. Now we'll play this back and you can see that has worked perfectly. Of course, if it drifts at any point, so if it did this, then you can just go in and make that adjustment and that will create a new keyframe. But once you've done all of those steps, you've now successfully completed text animation number 2, and that is the line reveal. Before I carry on with the rest of the video, I first just want to take a quick break to talk about the Brooker Films courses. If you're enjoying these shorter videos that I post to YouTube, then I think you'll love the longer form content that I post on Skillshare. For example, one of the courses that I have on Skillshare is a 3-hour plus introduction to Premiere Pro. And this course covers everything from import settings to importing your footage, to masking, to multicam editing, to green screen. There's so much in that course, and I'm able to get more detailed and more thorough in this course. So if you're new to Premiere Pro, if you're just looking for some up-to-date advice on how to use Premiere, then this course is for you. So click the link in the description below to check out that Premiere Pro course. Text number 3 is going to be a pop-up text animation. So rather than having the entire word pop up, we're going to have each character pop up on their own and stagger that on one after another. So rather than starting with a full word, we actually want to just start with a single letter. So we just start with this B. Then you just want to go down into motion and you want to make sure that the anchor point is in the middle of this letter, like this. Then you just want to go into scale and we'll pull this down to 0. Create a brand new keyframe on the scale. Then we'll move roughly 5 keyframes to the right and increase that to 120. And then we'll go 5 keyframes to the right again and pull that down to 100. So when we play this back, you can see we get this pop in. Now, if you select the motion, you'll see the position is not in the center. So we're just going to nudge this up a little bit. So around there, get that into the center. Now we're just going to make a copy of that individual layer. So this B layer, and paste on ROOKER. So we need 7 layers in total. So we can either go Command C, move over Command V to copy and paste, or alternatively, if you hold Option on your keyboard and drag that layer up, you can actually make copies of it like this. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I'm just going to turn off all of these layers. Then I'll go to that second layer and I'll change this to an R. Turn that one off, go to video layer 3, we'll change this to an O. Turn that one off, go to the next layer, turn this into an O, and just keep working through until you add in all of the letters that you need to complete your word. There we go. So now we've got all of those letters in, we've got the Brooker all spelled out on individual layers. Now we just need to nudge the position of all of these. So select that first layer, we'll go all the way to the bottom, select motion, and move the position over to the left. Then we'll go to the next layer, go down to position, and we'll just move this over to the left again. Then just keep working through each layer and just try and get this nice and spaced out. There we go. So as you can see, that's all now spaced out, but the problem is they're all coming in at the same time and it's over to the left a little bit. So let's fix that first issue first. So in order to get them to stagger on, we just want to go maybe 3 frames to the right and we'll nudge the second layer over. Then we go 3 to the right again and we'll nudge this layer over, and just keep working through this process until you've got all the layers nudged over to where they need to go. So you can see 7 layers are now coming in at different times, and that looks really nice. So now to fix this next issue, which is why are they over there? Well, to clean this up, first we're just going to make sure all of the ends are now at the same point. And then with that applied, we just want to highlight all layers, right click, and we will select nest, and we'll call this pop up. Then we'll just go into motion and we'll move the anchor point so that it is now in the middle like this. And that looks like it's pretty much perfectly centered. And again, we can combine some keyframe animation to bring this to life. So we'll go towards the end of this, create a brand new keyframe on scale at 100, go to the beginning and pull this down to 90. And then we'll go to that last keyframe, go to the right a few and pull that down to 0. So that will scale out. So these all bounce in, there's a nice scale in, and then it all disappears. So that is text animation number 3. Text number 4 is going to do what we did in text number 3, but rather than scaling in, we're going to position up. So we'll go into sequence 3, we'll go into the pop-up nested sequence, and we'll just copy what we've got here, and we'll put that into sequence 4. So as you can see, we've got that popping up text, But we don't want the pop-up text here. We want to have a fresh, clean slate because we want to position up. So in order to get rid of that pop-up, we'll just go into each layer and we'll just get rid of that scale keyframe. So scale, remove. Scale, remove. There we go. And again, we want to make sure that there is no stagger on this for now. So we're just going to make sure these are all at the very beginning like this. Then from there, we want to go into that first layer. Then we'll go roughly 7 or 8 frames to the right and create a new keyframe on position. Then we'll go 4 to the left, pull the position up. Then we'll go 4 to the left again, and then we'll pull this down like this. So as you can see, that is now bouncing into the frame. So now we just need to go ahead and get this onto all of the other layers. So we'll just go onto this R layer. We'll go 8 keyframes over to the right and we'll create a new keyframe on position. Then we'll go to the layer above, a new keyframe on position, and just keep working through each layer and get that endpoint on all of these different keyframes. Now, once you've created that, we'll go 4 keyframes to the left or 4 frames to the left, and we'll pull the position of all of these layers up. So just work through each individual layer and pull these all up like this. There we go. Then we'll go back to the beginning and we'll just pull these all back down off screen. There we go. Now when we play this back, they all bounce in. So in order to have that delay, we'll just go to the beginning, go 4 frames to the right, and we'll move R over. 4 again, move over. And just again, keep repeating this process until each layer has been delayed by 4 frames from the last. So we get this nice bouncing effect like this. Again, though, this is off-centered, so we're just going to highlight all of those layers. We'll right-click and select Nest. And then we'll just move the anchor point over to the right so that this is now in the middle. And now we have this really cool pop-up text animation. So that is text animation number 4. And now text animation number 5 is the typewriter effect. So in order to do the typewriter effect, first of all, we need the blinking cursor. So we'll just go ahead and create a new color matte. We'll make this white, and then we'll just drag this onto video layer 2. Then we'll go into effect controls, motion, deselect uniform scale, and we'll pull the width down to 0.7, and we'll pull the height down to a smaller number of around here. Then we'll move the position over to the left. We'll go roughly a second over, create a brand new keyframe on position, move 1 second over, and we'll just move this over to the right. So as you can see, it's going to hold, then it's going to move over, and then it's going to hold again. So this is similar to animation number 2 with this effect. This is what we want to do. So we're just going to go through to the point where that passes the text. So here, we'll go onto the text layer, go into opacity, select the free draw Bezier, and we'll just draw a mask around that line and then a rectangle around the word. And we'll create a new keyframe on mask path. Then we'll go to the point where it first makes contact, so here, and we'll pull that mask all the way to the left to touch this one. So there we go. We end up with this reveal effect, but it doesn't really look like a typewriter at the moment. So in order to get the typewriter effect, we want this to be blinking. Now there's 2 ways to make this blink. You can either go frame by frame. So we'll go 4 frames to the right, make a cut, 4 frames to the right, make a cut, 4 frames to the right, make a cut, and then you just delete every other section. So you get this effect, which does work, but you'll be there all day if you do that. So instead of that, let's just go into effects and search for strobe. So strobe light, drop that onto this layer here. And as you can see, nothing is happening at the moment. So we'll make the strobe black. And there you go. You can see at the moment that is working, but it's a little bit too slow in my opinion. So I'm just going to increase the strobe duration to 1 second. Let's see how that looks. That's actually slowed it down. So let's go the other way. Let's go 0.25. So as you can see, we've now got that really cool blinking cursor effect. If you wanted to have that line on at all times whilst the word was animating on, then you could just create a new keyframe on strobe duration. Then we can just create another keyframe once that has been revealed. So create another keyframe there. And then halfway through there, you just want to pull the strobe duration up to a higher number. and that will be there. So it's blinking, then it comes on, and then it blinks again. And that is your typewriter effect now complete. So there you go. Those are my top 5 text animations inside of Adobe Premiere Pro. So thank you ever so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. See you there.